I've told everybody in the United States of America, they have ruined that study. And when I went on hormone therapy, everybody called me and said, you're going to get cancer and you can't take this. And I go, but no, that study was wrong. But nobody listens to me. I don't have credibility. And I was in my mid-40s. I had done CrossFit and gotten real competitive and was doing jerk and cleans and crazy mess. I think my cortisol levels went up. It was in the middle of the economic downturn. So things affected Chuck's job because he's in the housing market or housing company. We had a tragic death in our family. I had one of my very best friends that's in the book dump me, and I had never had that kind of heartbreak before. And I hear that women in perimenopause and menopause will go through breakups.
Yeah.
And it's so painful. It's like being middle school girls and somebody's got to be a butthole. And so I was going through all that, and I used to walk every day with her. I was going to fitness classes at my gym. I love fitness. And I just quit going. And I was so tired. I know there must have been stress. I would fall asleep in the pickup line at school around 3:00. Somebody'd have to honk a horn, scare the living daylights out of me to move. I would be awake all night, and I just couldn't put one foot in front of the other. And I really started thinking, do I have cancer? Is something bad wrong with me? And I was so fatigued. I had heart palpitations. I kept saying to my precious doctor, who I loved, and he was good for sinus infection, but I said, I don't feel right. And he had a poster that had thyroid symptoms of hypothyroid or Hashimoto's or whatever. And it was hair loss, constipated, all this. And I go, I'm constipated. I've lost my hair. I don't feel good. And he goes, I've done your panel. You're fine. I think it ended up being an antiquated panel. And he goes, you're depressed. I'm going to put you on antidepressant. And he did. It did not change anything. And then I had a child go off to college. I mean, all these life things happening in the same time. And then we were all had braces. We had braces in my 40s with my kids in middle school and high school. I could barely even keep awake. And I told them I don't feel good. And the girl that worked front desk, she said, there is a nurse practitioner that is saving people's lives. I mean, these 40-something-year-old mamas are in there getting their kids braces. Turns out the doctor that she worked under was my next door neighbor, his wife, who I loved, my neighbor. I said, I would love to get into her. And she goes, well, let me see what I can do. Because she had 4,000 patients. Nobody wanted to see the doctors. Everybody wanted to see her. And she could not take new patients. My neighbor got me in. And she said, I'm going to do some stuff out of the box. It's probably going to come out of your own pocket. And I'll probably get fined for it. But she said, let's do it. And she, did a gluten intolerant test. She checked my adrenal fatigue. I was in adrenal fatigue. My thyroid had bottomed out. She said, you're in perimenopause. Your estrogen is up and down. Yeah. And she started getting me on everything. It took her a while to get me situated, but I felt like a different person. She say, yeah, because you're up all night. You can't sleep. You're broken out in a sweat. Yeah. I was having heart palpitations when we did the Oprah thing, and she said she had to wear a heart monitor. I wore a heart monitor at one time. I thought, I've got a heart problem. Something is bad wrong with me. And they put me on a heart monitor, and I was okay. It was just heart palpitations from, I guess, menopause. Yeah. And I look back on it now, and when I quit exercising, that was the worst thing I could have done. We had that blow up, and I didn't have anybody to walk with, and I should have walked on my own. But if I tell young girls all the time, keep exercising. All that wine and all that rigmarole, I started craving wine. I'd never been a drinker, never been in my house. And I just started thinking, red wine at night. And then I'd be up all night from that. It would disrupt my sleep. And I would eat white flour, and that just makes it all worse. Sugar and all that. Yeah. And I wish that I could have, I would have known better, and I would have taken better care of myself. So I tried to tell these young girls that. Yeah. I did not get to smell little Pedro. I didn't really even get to meet him. I don't know where they whisked that little thing out somewhere. And I went to all these parties, and I didn't get to see him. And I bet he was there. Lauren Michaels at Saturday Night Live. And he said, my wife is your biggest fan, and took me to meet her, and she was precious. I've been raised on Saturday Night Live, and that is my thing. And I have had, I worked with Will Ferrell. Fred Armisen reached out to me. I was on John Mulaney's show, Amy Poehler's podcast. And then I heard from Molly Shannon the other day. So when these SNL people reach out to me, that means the world to me. And they all say, Leanne, you write like us. Like all the writers send your stuff around. And I'm like, what? but I have loved it all of my life. And it never dawned on me to get in the car at 18 and drive to Chicago for Second City or the Groundlings in LA. I was just from the country. I didn't know, but that thrills me. And then we went to a Warner Brothers party and I met all of Abbott Elementary, that little Quinta Brunson, that little doll that's as big as this cup. I could have held her like a baby. Brilliant. Got one of the top shows on. I met Brett Goldstein and Ted Lasso.
Oh, my
Beautiful.
God.
And Darlin, he's another stand-up. I met Drew Tarver, who was on the other two. But every party, I mean, there were people that I saw that I was like, oh, my Lord, look, Chuck Morgan. He was with me, and and I lost 5 pounds that weekend because he said, do you want a slider? And I was like, no, I don't want a slider. I'm trying to meet people. I don't want to smell bad. So he ate, and I just would be weak and think, oh, I haven't eaten because I'm at these Hollywood parties, but everybody's tiny. He's smart for hacks.
So good.
Catherine O'Hara is doing more. Well, I mean, she's always been fabulous. Kathy Bates, that doll. Yeah, I mean, but I didn't come up in Hollywood, and I know they must feel that ageism, but I don't see it. But I think everybody's thriving at that age and up. It's more stories about all these kids and Chuck Morgan, and the unspeakable thing parts is I, do unspeakable things with Chuck Morgan, and he still has a lot of testosterone. And I remember my nurse practitioner saying, I'm going to give you some testosterone. I said, thank you. And she goes, the more tennis he plays, she said, I'll just tell you, it's going to up his. You got to keep up with that. And I was like, it makes you want to do. Oh, well, that's nice. Because that's how men show love. That's the way God made them. And there's nothing wrong with it. That makes him feel
outside
good.
of vacation.
Outside of vacation in a hotel room. Because in that special I talk about, Chuck Morgan loves a hotel room and gets a glazed look over his eyes. And I feel like I'm doing this. Okay. I saw you post the kind that you use. And I asked somebody, can you give me what Dr. Mary Claire's got? Because I take a little it's just a little like in a syringe kind of thing. It's compounded. And I just take androgel. Because let's face it, and I know Dr. Laura that had the radio show still had, I remember her saying, what do men need? A casserole. And you know what? I mean, and it really, not that men are simple. It's very uncomplicated. And if I make a Duncan Hines yellow cake mix with a bald frosting, as my mama calls it, chocolate, put that in the oven. That's cooking. I pour a little bleach in a toilet so Chuck thinks I've cleaned. Then he comes home. You know what? He's almost in tears. It does not take a lot for a man. It really doesn't. But it's terrible when you're going through menopause, and it does hurt.